So a few months back, the first traditional mainline Five Nights at Freddy's game came out since, Security Breach? And the marketing was so bad that no one even knew it existed, but, the story behind the lack of marketing for the game has been mentioned plenty of times before, and it's not like it affects the quality of the game or anything, and it sure doesn't affect the topic of this video, which is, unsurprisingly, the character designs. Unlike Security Breach, which had a lot of characters I just don't really care for at all, I like basically all of the designs in this game. Basically. I also had a really hard time coming up with characters I wanted to redesign for this video, so why am I really making this video in the first place? First off, before anything, I'm not redesigning the Mimic or Jackie or, most of the actually important characters. I genuinely really like basically all of these designs. I really just had one character that I wanted to redesign, and even then, the changes I made are pretty subtle, so, might as well just jump into it. First off, the Springlock suits that were introduced in this game? While I really do like these designs for, their simplicity and clunky mechanical detail, there is one that stands out to me, and that would be the Captain Springlock suit. I honestly do kind of like this design, but when compared to the others, he just has so much going on. He has 3 octopi on him, a bunch of medals, an earring in one ear and a chip in the other, tongue hanging out. He just has a whole bunch going on. Also, most people don't even know what animal he's supposed to be. Because of, the long pirate hair, most people thought he was like a lion or something, but apparently he's supposed to be a bulldog, which is just not very clear from the design. So here's the design that I came up with. As you can see, I really didn't do a whole lot to make him different from the original. I just kind of streamlined him and simplified him some. I removed a lot of the medals, but I made them bigger and cartoonier. I then removed his tongue because I just didn't really feel like that fit his character. I then gave him droopy ears and gave him a droopier snout to make him feel more like an actual, bulldog. But finally, the squeaky octopus he has on his cannon? I mean, it's cute, but I redesigned it to make it a lot more animatronic-like. I gave it moving eyes that would just stare at the player. I see this being similar to the cupcake where, yeah, it's silly, but the stare would make it feel like you're constantly being watched. So overall, yeah, I really do like this design. It turns this really cool but, kind of messy character into a really cool character overall. Next up, we have a really interesting character. I really like Dolly as a design, except for one aspect, and that's her hair. So, she's supposed to be like a nurse doll themed character, and I get that the messy hair is probably because dolls can easily have, messy hair, but I just don't really feel like the random plates of metal look that good. They certainly don't really feel like something that an actual animatronic would have. Instead, I feel like it would be much better if Dolly had like one solid piece of hair. Either that or give her actual messy hair like a doll, but with it being an in-game model and all, this could easily lead to her looking a little too ugly or something. So for my redesign, I just gave her a single piece of metal or plastic and a very traditional 50s styled haircut or something. I feel like this design fits the time period of the game much better, but yeah, as you can see, I literally just drew the head. I didn't even try that hard on the face because literally the only thing I change about the design is the hair. I really like the rest of it, so I just didn't draw the body. Usually with this series I have something to tweak, but no, not really. I like this design. I mean, it might seem a little lazy on my part, but I mean, that's all I have for Dolly. I have a very similar issue with Bub. I love the design, except for the ears. So, this is probably supposed to be the same character as the dog from the movie, right? And the concept art for the game reflects this, having a much closer design to the movies. And while I do really like the design we ended up with, the small ears kind of make it seem like another bear character at first glance. I also feel like the droopy movie ears are just more unique, so here's how I changed the head. I kind of just combined the two designs a little. I really like this design, but yeah, again, I have no issues with the body, so I didn't draw it. Sorry. Well, here's a design I did of the guy after the game came out, so yeah, that's cool. Finally, to end off the trio of characters that I have issues with, but, don't really need a full redesign, we have the White Tiger. Unlike the other two, though, I really don't have any issues with the design. I mean, I do kind of wish that the in-game plush wasn't just a downscaled model, but, I mean, that's about it. No, if you've watched my previous video about Golden Freddy, I love the vibe of his character.
And the White Tiger has a very similar, eerie, mysterious vibe to him, you know, being the scariest part of the game, being the only antagonist that's not the Mimic, just showing up without an explanation. It's just really cool. And if you watch that video, you know that I especially like Golden Freddy's, you know, jump scare death animation. The still image is just so unique and makes him feel so different from the others. And the White Tiger is basically the new age Golden Freddy, so why does his death animation look like this? Like, that's just bad. So what if he kept that Nightmare own Golden Freddy still image look? Here's a little mock-up I made. Jump scare warning, I guess. Now this is just kind of a proof of concept more than anything else, but I do feel like this would dramatically improve the aura of the character. Finally, I'll end off on a character, or more so a group of characters, that I have a lot of issues with. That would be the proto-mimics, or whatever they're called. Now, I'm not really entirely sure what the story behind them is, but I'm pretty sure they were made by the Mimic out of, like, random scraps, so, you know, I'm not changing that. What I will say is just how stupid a bunch of them look. Of course, with them being a group of background, scrappy, just little guys, some of them are bound to be a little weird looking, and that's fine. But your very first impression of these guys in the climax of the game is this. Like, come on. Every playthrough I've seen of this game, this guy that looks like a trash can just completely ruins the tension of the scene. So, instead of redesigning every single one of them, I thought, why not just remove some of the worst ones and replace them with a few more basic humanoid ones to maybe feel a little more serious or something? So here's the designs I ended up with. I do feel like these fit the horror vibe of the game much better, and, you know, these aren't necessarily final designs, more so a proof of concept where I tested out ideas and just kind of drew whatever came to mind. But instead of these oddities and weird aspects subtracting from the horror, I feel like having them kind of add on to it fits much better, even if these are just background characters. So instead of saying literally everything about these designs, I'm just going to list a few of my favorite aspects. First off, I really like the idea of the sideways head with lopsided eyes. It's just pretty neat and kind of gross looking. Then on that same character, I gave it an upside down head to act as its upper body. While strange, I think it looks pretty cool and doesn't really subtract from the horror. I didn't really do anything crazy on the other ones. I like the covered up head on the middle guy and the tube on the knee. The guy on the left is definitely the most basic one, but I think he works really well as like just a basic proto-mimic that could be the centerpiece of chases to make them feel a little more like dramatic and like a serious threat. Like, imagine instead of seeing the trash can looking guy waddle around, the elevator opens and this guy pops out and starts quickly like shimmying towards you before the elevator closes. Like, that would definitely be a lot more cinematic than this, right? But, you know, overall, I think that these designs are a pretty neat proof of concept. Overall, yeah, this was a pretty weird episode of my redesigns. I think Captain Springlock was the only character that I did in the traditional format that I've used for, what, the past year? Wow, I really need to remake this video. I can't even tell what I'm saying in it.
Back in 2021, when Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach released.
Anyways, yeah, it was hard finding characters to redesign for this video, but I mean, that's a good thing. I love the direction this game took atmosphere and character design wise, but hey, if you want me to draw a character, even redesign a character, you know, commissions are always open. Also, final thing, I'm thinking of making a project that requires a little bit of community interaction, so I made a Discord server. Feel free to join, and before I leave, I gotta do the normal engagement bait, like, you know, like, comment, subscribe, and I mean, I guess hype the video. That's new, I don't even know what that means, but I mean, I guess it helps. But yeah, I mean, that's it. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.